How you doing? My name is Adam Whitaker. I'm 24 years old. I'm a Pittsburgh local here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Just recently, as of yesterday, um, Pit Race, our local racetrack, has just announced that they are closing, and they were bought out by a data mining or like data bank company. Um, the entire facility, the huge race complex that it is going to be a big data farm, um, which is a very unfortunate event because this is the closest racetrack we have here in Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh is a huge kind of automotive and racing kind of city. We do the Pittsburgh Vintage Grand Prix every year, all sorts of different events. Pit Race holds Spec Miata, all sorts of different time attack and time trial events, as well as Grid Life every year. Just recently, actually, over the summer, we had spoken to some Grid Life, or not Grid Life officials, some officials from Pit Race, some employees there, and they were saying that they were planning to hold both the bigger Grid Life events here at Pit Race next year, as well as Formula Drift. Formula Drift back in 2021 was held in Erie. I know that because I went. It was awesome. It was a huge turnout. It was great. They actually kind of overcrowded Erie, and Erie just wasn't big enough. Pit Race is more than big enough. They've got the facilities there. They've got the restrooms, the parking, the pits, everything. The only issue was them driving on the track rather than a skid pad or like the circle track at Erie. But anyways, long story short, Pit Race is gonna be done. They're closing up shop. I think November 30th is their last event, and that's it. And so it's really, really unfortunate. Anyways, I figured I'd just make kind of a goodbye Pit Race video. It's been a huge part of my life. I've spent my life going up there just about every single summer, either with my dad, with my wife. Back when we were dating, we still go up there regularly just for car shows, the Club Loose 2 drift events, all sorts of things. But I made a kind of a list of just how Pit Race has kind of impacted my life, how influential being 40 minutes from a racetrack has been. The reason that I love cars is not 100% due to it, but like if you think about all of the things that we have here in Pittsburgh, all like the automotive culture we have here, that's a pretty big impact on my life for sure. But one thing I wanted to just mention is like my first event at Pit Race. I did Extreme Experience in 2013. I was 12 or 13 years old at the time. My dad got it for me for my birthday. I think I was in 6th or 7th grade. That might have been 7th. I was in 7th grade at that time. So it was awesome. I got to ride in a brand new Nissan GTR at the time, and it was the coolest thing I'd ever done. That was my dream car. It still absolutely is my dream car. I'll own one day. I have a little picture of me. I'll put it here. Framed in my bedroom. That was the first time I ever got to sit in one. I asked the guy if we could launch it, and he said yes. It was the coolest thing ever. I got to ride in that. I got to ride in a C7 Corvette Stingray, which was brand new at the time too. It was awesome. I got to sit in a Ferrari 430 Scuderia, as well as I think a McLaren MP412C and an R8. But it was the coolest thing I'd ever done. This was the first real racetrack I've ever been to, and that was still when it was the small track too. It was before they extended the straightaway, extended like the back half of the track. I think it was like a 2-mile course, and now it's a good few miles. But it was definitely what really sparked my interest and love for cars. My dad and I, he's super into motorcycles. He's into Harleys. I'm not as well versed in bikes. I know them, but that's his thing. I never got me. I fell into cars. But him and I would go up for Superbike and MotoGP and to watch like all of the big touring bagger events. They just recently started doing that, so in series now. But my dad's got a Harley Road Glide. He's had 2 Road Glides, and he loves them. They're fantastic bikes. But he's had other bikes too. But he's into baggers. His is done up. It's suspensions or Legend suspension, mid controls, raised bags. Like he leans that thing. He rides it hard. But yeah, like we grew up going to pit race every summer for different events. Actually, when I got able to drive, when I was 16, I bought my first car. It was a Mazda Miata. I loved it. It was a great car. One time I was cruising through my town. Actually, I was coming right home, and I had somebody flash me down with their high beams, and it was another guy in a Miata, and it ended up being this guy Cody McGee. Cody's the reason that I found drifting. It was 100% him. He said, "Hey, I do this thing up at Pit Race. We do club loose events." He's like, "I don't run it, but I'm just, I go up there. You should come up." And so he invited me up, and I ended up wrecking that car a few weeks later, so I never ended up going. But there in the spring, I saw Club Loose 2 was holding their first event in 2018. And I was like, oh, I should go. And I had just bought a Mazda Miata R package car at the time. So it had no power steering. It was, no AC, very bare bones, but it was like a race car, LSD, Bilstein shocks, everything you wanted. It had a hard top. So we went up there. I did the event, and it was basically autocross for me. It was the most embarrassing thing I've ever done, and I still hate watching the videos of me trying to drift because I swear I'm just taking out cones. It was the most embarrassing ever. I tried to enter in third gear and immediately spun the car out, stalled it. I had no idea what I was doing, but that was the coolest thing ever. It was my first event. Nobody had any idea what they were doing. It was... people knew what they were doing, and there were, beginner kids. There were people that this is their first time driving stick. There was maybe 25 of us total, and it was a mess, but it was glorious at the same time. But that was my first event, and I was hooked. I just knew that I needed to get the right car, and making that, no power steering Mazda Miata, that wasn't it. But anyways, I got some friends that also, I made a bunch of friends through Club Loose up at Pit Race. I went to Midvale a couple times. I also went to Lake Erie for the Lake Erie events. And, I just really fell in love with drifting. Going up to Pit Race, it's 40 minutes from my house. So I had pretty much every event up there for the rest of the 2018, 2019 seasons. I went up there, just shot media. I got super into photography, and really loved it. I had a great time. I was always taking photos. I was always, behind the guardrail in the grass and stuff. And while I wasn't drifting, I was still, there participating, having a good time, hanging out with everybody in the pits, working on cars, learning, the lingo and how people drive. And I knew I wanted to do it someday. So in 2019 as well, I met my buddy Davis. That was 2018, but Davis started drifting up at Club Loose. He had a silver 350Z, and him and I, hit it off. We're good buddies. But him and I... he was driving, and I was like, let me ride in the car with you. So him and I are going for ride-alongs, and I'm, learning, you enter here, flick, you gotta initiate, what a feint entry is. I'm learning everything. And it was the coolest thing. And he'd let me drive his car sometimes, and it was awesome. Anyways, I sold my Mazda Miata to buy a 350Z. So in high school in 2019, end of 2018, going into 2019, I bought a 350Z, and I was like, I'm going to build this to drift. So I basically cloned his car, The same coilovers, same mods, same wheel specs, like all the same. And I plan on drifting it. Never really got around to hitting a club loose event, but plenty of, street drifting. I did do a private event at Pit Race as well, and it was a blast. It was so much fun. Ended up selling that. COVID happened, and during COVID, I actually left my job at Hyundai. I worked for Hyundai and Mazda, and I moved to Swickley Car Store. So at Swickley Porsche, they had the Porsche race team. They, in-house race shop. They had in-ground alignment racks. They built this huge, massive facility for both EV cars and race cars, and they know their stuff there. Well, I worked there. I worked at the detail shop, and so I was cleaning the race cars before and after events. I was, working on customer cars, cleaning those. I got to kind of just have random bits and pieces of old wrecked stuff. I actually have the sway bar end link off of the famous Porsche GT3 Cup car that had wrecked at the Vintage Grand Prix, the whole Swickley Car Store pit race car. I have the carbon sway bar end link somewhere here in my attic. But yeah, like, I absolutely loved the atmosphere of going to the track. And again, all of the car stores and customers were like 40 minutes away. Oh, I've got a track day. Come check my car out. And like, I don't know. What are you going to do? What are we going to do now? And it blows to hear that. But anyways, I had left Swickley Car Store in 2023, moved on. At the time when I was still working there, obviously I worked for BMW, so I'm like, oh, I'm going to build a BMW. I get employee pricing on stuff. So I built an E46, 328, bucket seat, carbon, poly bushings, coilovers, welded diff, full drift car, everything but a hydro. I had it, I just never installed it. But I mean, I went from doing my first real event to it at the beginning of the season to being an A-class driver at the end of the season in a year. And that's 5-6 events up at Pit Race. And, just consistency and practice, and you'll get there. Once you figure it out, it clicks. You watch a video of yourself driving, you're like, oh, I see that mistake I made. But like, Pit Race has been such an influential part of my life that, like, I don't know, it was so easy to just, hey, I see you're struggling with this, come up to Pit Race next weekend and we'll dial that in for you. And we did it. So left the car store. I now work for Elusive Auto Shine, a detail shop. And we're a smaller business, but we kind of own our market, or at least the South Hills for the most part. But we're all into track stuff. Dante, the owner, he's got a Civic Type R that he runs up at the Track Nights of America events and kind of all sorts of different local events. We'll be up there for Grid Life through work, October 17th through the 19th, that whole weekend. I'll be up there. So if you see me, say hi. It's going to be the final goodbyes of Pit Race, which really blows, but there'll be camping, and it'll be a real authentic Pit Race experience if you've never had it. And speaking of authentic, to make the whole event the same, or like a last memorable thing, you got to make sure you stop at Al's Corner and get some ham barbecue before you go up to the track. Maybe some Subway, just because it's right down the street. But basically, we're losing the track. It really, really sucks to hear. I have really spent my entire life going up there, as you'll see in all these photos and stuff that I'll kind of splice over and talk over for this whole thing. You'll see, this has been most of my childhood, my life, my whole, since I could drive, all I've done is want to build race cars and do race car stuff. And that's because the track was so close to my house. And now we're left with Nelson Ledges, which is an hour and 40 minutes away. We've got Summit Point in West Virginia, Mid-Ohio in the Poconos, But it's just, it sucks that we're losing the one right here. Like, there's so many shops. I know Doug Weaver's got Race Protocol literally on the driving in road, like the entry road to Pit Race. That was his shop. That's his, you know, his bread and butter was those customers. So what's he gonna do now? It just, I'm not mad that it sold. I'm just upset that it didn't sell to another company. That it was just a like, hey, we're done type deal, not a, you know, like, hey, we're thinking about selling the business, or it went up for sale. Especially like, I had just spoken to plenty of Pit Race employees over the summer up at the Grand Prix, so it blows to kind of see it as a just light switch. It's not like a, hey, we might be leaving. It's, we're gone. There's no saving us. So it just sucks. There is a change.org link. Everybody's been signing it. I signed it. You can donate if you want. I don't think donating actually does anything, because it's not like, you know, nobody's hurt or anything. It's not like we're gonna all pitch in and buy the track. So don't put any money into this. But if you want to sign a petition to kind of do something, I don't really know what it'll do. You can. I'll put the link down below. But I don't know. It's fucking 11:30 at night right now. I can't sleep, and I just needed to ramble. So, you know, if you listened to all of this, thank you. If you don't care and you hate my guts, then unsubscribe and don't watch my nonsense. But I just make stupid YouTube videos about me and my friends working on cars. I just bought this Genesis Coupe a few months ago, and I planned on drifting an event, or doing a drift event, you know, the spring of next year. I just got it on coilovers. I am sourcing an LSD diff for it. Like, I'm trying to have fun. I just bought a fun car again. I've got a nice truck now that I can haul my car, and I've got a trailer I can use. Like, things were just starting to click, you know, things were coming together. My boss has a fucking Datsun 510 that he's got a built SR20 to go in, that he's literally been building this car for the last 4 or 5 years, and he got all the metal work done. He's got, you know, it's undercoated, the motor is in, like, it's almost there, and now we're losing our local track. Like, this sucks. So I don't know. I'm not mad at the Pit Race people. I get it. I just hate that it had to be this way, you know? But I don't know. I don't know what else to say. Thanks for watching. I've got a couple other little YouTube videos I made with the Genesis. I put a wing on it. Not a wing, more like a duck-billed trunk spoiler. But it's off a junkyard car that Jake found over at You Pull and Pay. So yeah, that's a whole like month-long video of me that I've just been filming over the last few weekends. So I'll splice that all together and upload it here in the next day or two. But yeah, I don't know. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to me ramble. What do you think, Swade? Tell him thank you. Thanks for watching. Thanks for putting up with my nonsense, building race cars with me. I'm not a lot of people watch my YouTube videos, but I'm like most active on Facebook and Instagram. So if you want to, you can add me on both of those. That's where I post most of my like daily nonsense. I just post YouTube videos when I feel like making a YouTube video. That's all. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Peace out. Make sure to like and subscribe. Give me a comment. Leave me, you know, how Pit Race has impacted your life. Did you grow up around it? Have you been here? If you have, tell us your experience. But yeah, thanks. See you next time.